do something a little bit different today. It's actually Thanksgiving 2018. And while I have a lot of different things to be thankful for the sake of the Lancer Life video, I'm going to talk about one person in particular, and I got the inspiration from this cigar. Check it out next on the Lancer Life. Like me, when you started off smoking cigars, it was probably one of a few iconic brands. You probably smoked a Monte Cristo or a Cohiba, either Cuban or domestic. You probably had an H. Upmann or a Macanudo, which was the good, the training wheel cigar. Or I would venture to say you probably had a cigar from Fuente, one of the blends. Even though you might not have necessarily known about the flavor profiles and all of that good stuff that we get into today, it was probably one of the first cigar brands you ever had, because they're iconic. Their names are associated with tens of years, and some of the families go back 100 years of cigar making. Well, on this Thanksgiving, I want to share a little bit about my memories of Arturo Fuente as I smoke this Casa Cuba Flor Fina. Let's take a look at the cigar. Not much to say about the blend. It's got an Ecuadorian wrapper and some of the traditional Fuente aged Dominican binder and filler. In fact, it's the same blend as the Queen Bee and other cigars of the Chateau Fuente family. The only distinction I can point to is, look at this. This is a very nice Corona. It's triple cap. It is absolutely made in the style of a traditional Cuban cigar. So that's what we got. So I'm going to go ahead and light this thing up. And I'm sure it's going to be very similar to others. Very easy draw, which is good. So I got to take my time where I'll blow through this thing. But my first cigar I think I ever smoked was a Chateau Fuente. And it was probably something that I got, or that I remember buying for myself. It's something that I probably got down at Holt's Tobacco Shop in 1998. There's a video of Holt's. When I used to work in Center City, Philadelphia, I worked not too far away from the location of Holt's Tobacco Shop. So, going into a cigar shop, you see all these different cigars and brands. You don't know quite what you want. Boom, they point you to a cigar. Pretty soon after smoking the Chateau Fuente, just one of the few cigar blends, even to this day, that I've bought entire boxes of. I don't buy boxes of cigars. I don't like smoking the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's just my thing. You get the Chateau Fuente, and then I thought I graduated. I kicked it up a notch to the Chateau Sun-Grown, and smoking the Sun-Grown, I noticed that sometimes you got a medium body, and sometimes it tastes a little medium to full body. So I thought it was pretty interesting. That's when I began to learn, hey, you can get some variation from box to box of the same tobacco, and this is prior to me getting to the wines and stuff like that. But then you began experimenting with all the other different sizes, the double Chateau. I remember smoking one of those big, gigantic cigars. It lasted me the entire 6-7 hour ride from New Jersey to Buffalo, New York, going through the thruway in my expedition. A single cigar, man, that was just, I couldn't do too many of those. But Chateau Fuente is a cigar that I have really always enjoyed. I remember in, I want to say, the mid-90s, maybe the late 90s, when the Opus X came out. I had visited a shop. It was before, probably around 95, 96, I remember, because I was still working up in Central Jersey at the time, and a cigar shop that I used to frequent had them come in, and I remember smoking my first Opus X and thinking, wow, I didn't think a cigar could do this to you, man. That thing had me unraveling. And I remember hearing the guy, the salesman, warning the people at the store. He nicknamed the cigar the Power Ranger. He used to tell them, you guys make sure that you eat, a full meal or something before you smoke this cigar, or it will really get you. And I remember thinking that was hype, and the cigar got me, I have to say. Even with that, the lines of cigars by Arturo Fuente has constantly expanded. The Don Carlos line, again named after Don Carlos Fuente, came out. And then the Eye of the Shark came out, which is really not so much a cigar, but a particular vitola. It's a box press torpedo. They had the tragedy that wiped out their crop in the Dominican Republic from the hurricane. I did a video on that. And because they didn't have that tobacco that they needed to create the Opus X, they used some tobacco aged in champagne bottles and came out with I can't remember what the brand is, but it was another great brand that they came out with, the result of the tragedy. I think that is the Don Carlos. That's how they came up with the Don Carlos. So I'm sure it's on a day to remember things and have things to be thankful. I'm thankful for Don Carlos and the family, and for what they've meant to me in terms of my cigar growth. I've kind of grown up, I feel like, as a cigar a snob with the Fuente family, and this is a very good cigar. Tastes very Fuente-ish. As I said, the tobaccos are similar to what they use in the other line. I haven't seen anything that says they're different than anything else. But I just wanted to smoke this on Thanksgiving Day, pay tribute to the Carlos Fuente family, and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Oh, let me tell you what the cigar gives you. The cigar is giving me a little bit of sweetness. It gives you that cocoa, it gives you a little leather, gives you that earthiness, which is, as I said, is typical of the Carlos Fuente cigars. This is I'd say about a medium body cigar, but it's really loaded with good flavors. Nothing too outrageous or nuanced or anything like this. Look, this won't be my cigar of the year, but this is a very, very good cigar, and you can find these Coronas at a reasonable price, somewhere in the $7 to maybe $8 range. Good burn, good balance, good taste, good grief, good God, let's eat. So there you have it. So very informal. Thought I'd do something a little different for those of you who are interested in that kind of thing. Stay smoky. Peace out.